Hello and welcome back, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Justina. Welcome. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. So here today I'm going to talk about the eighth house in astrology. And here this is the eighth episode out of the 12 in this series. So we're almost approaching the end. So here the eighth house in astrology is often associated with transformation, with power, mysteries of life, death, and also shared resources, finances, sexuality, deep emotional connections. Now, this house can also represent inheritance, taxes, other people's money. Now, those with strong placements in the eighth house may have a natural talent for uncovering hidden truths and secrets. However, this house can also bring challenges. As it can reveal our deepest fears and also vulnerabilities. So here, the eighth house is a really complex and a powerful house in astrology. And individuals with the eighth house planets, they are usually people who don't like anything of a superficial nature, people who can detect lies easily, people who go through transformations, frequent transformations or transformative experiences in their life. There is a certain degree of that magnetic aura surrounded around them. But at the same time, let's see what each placement's planetary placement and a luminary placement means in this house so that you can gain a better understanding of your own placement in this house. If you don't have any planets in the eighth house, have a look at the ruler of your eighth house and listen to its interpretation for more insights. Right, so let's start from the sun. So here, wherever the sun is present in our chart, this signifies a very important area of life. Individuals with the eighth house sun, they like to connect with others on a deep and profound level. So they seek deep and profound connections. There is a lot of depth into their aura, but at the same time here, individuals with the eighth house sun often display a very strong sense of identity, vitality that is very deeply connected to themes connected to power, death, transformation. And here this placement can bring a lot of intensity, a lot of complexity to life. Now, the eighth house in astrology is known for its association with the deepest and darkest corners of the human experience. And people with the sun in the eighth house have a natural talent for uncovering secrets, mysteries, and they might be drawn to metaphysical or spiritual even practices. Now, people with displacement often have a very deep desire to understand the mysteries of life. However, the eighth house can also bring challenges, and individuals with displacement may find themselves struggling with intense emotional upheavals or power struggles in their lives. And they may experience difficulty sharing their resources or emotions with others, or perhaps they might feel a very strong need to maintain control over their lives and relationships to a certain extent. Now, despite these challenges, a natal sun in the eighth house can be a really powerful placement that can bring opportunities for growth, for transformation. And it's really important for those with their natal sun in the eighth house to explore their own depths and work towards balancing their own desires for power, for control, with their need for emotional connection and vulnerability. And here, by doing so, they can unlock their full potential. And this can lead to some really meaningful and fulfilling experiences as well. The sun in the birth chart represents the masculine energy, the father figure. Very often with the eighth house sun, there's some kind of issue with the father figure. And the father was either absent or there is some kind of wound connected to the father figure. and maybe some trauma, difficult experiences. Perhaps he wasn't fully available, or perhaps he struggled with mental health or some addictions. So there is some karma related to the father, the masculine energy here. And this can also lead to that tendency to attract difficult partners in life. This could be very much the case as well. So people with displacement need to watch out who they welcome into their reality, especially when it comes to their love partners. Now, the moon with natal moon in the 8th house. Natal moon in the 8th house can make someone very sensitive, very, very vulnerable as well, especially because the moon in the 8th house can indicate karma related to the mother figure, some deep experiences with the mother. But also, people with displacement are very sensitive and they can absorb other people's energies very easily, or perhaps they can be very sensitive to some deep experiences, or perhaps the experiences, those difficult experiences that they went through in their life. They would have impacted them very deeply on the emotional level. So there is some kind of emotional depth connected to this placement. Here, the natal moon in the 8th house has a unique emotional makeup that is closely tied to the themes of transformation, power, mysteries of life, and death. And this placement brings a deep emotional intensity, complexity even, to those with this placement, as the moon represents our emotional nature, our need for security, nurturing as well, while the 8th house is associated with the darkest corners of the human experience. And people with the natal moon in the 8th house are highly intuitive and may possess a natural ability to sense hidden emotions or motivations in others. And people with this placement are drawn to deep and passionate relationships, and they often crave emotional intimacy and connection on a very, very deep level. However, the 8th house can also bring challenges, and people with displacement, they may struggle with intense emotional upheavals, or perhaps power struggles in their personal relationships. And overall, people with natal moon in the 8th house may also possess a very deep desire to understand the mysteries of life and death, and they might be drawn to spiritual or metaphysical practices as well. They may have a natural talent for uncovering secrets, for solving mysteries. So it's really important for people with the moon in the 8th house to work on balancing their emotions, that emotional intensity more specifically, with their need for healthy emotional connections. And people with the moon in the 8th house here, by exploring their own depths and working on developing healthy emotional connections, they can unlock their full potential and live a very fulfilling and meaningful life. Now, when it comes to Mercury, Mercury in the 8th house, natal Mercury in the 8th house has a very unique and intellectual makeup that is really, really closely connected to the themes of transformation, power, mysteries of life, death and rebirth, life after death. And this placement brings a deep curiosity and a desire to discover or uncover hidden aspects of life, as the 8th house is associated with deep experiences and mysteries, deep emotions. And Mercury represents our communication style, our thought processes, and learning. And people with this placement may have a natural talent for detecting deception, for hidden secrets or hidden agendas, and may have a very strong intuition for uncovering secrets and solving problems, mysteries. And they might be drawn to spiritual or metaphysical practices, and they might also have a very deep interest in topics such as astrology, or perhaps psychic development, spirituality, life after death. And here, the 8th house can also bring challenges. So here, people with Mercury in the 8th house may sometimes struggle with intense emotions, or perhaps some power struggles in their lives, and they might experience a difficulty expressing their thoughts and ideas with others. And people with the 8th house Mercury, they may have a tendency to withhold information, or to keep secrets. And despite these challenges, natal Mercury in the 8th house can also bring a lot of opportunities, especially opportunities connected to growth, transformation. And people with displacement may possess a natural talent for research, investigation, and they might excel in fields such as psychology, investigative journalism, or criminology. So overall, a natal Mercury in the 8th house can be a really, really strong and transformative placement. So here with this placement, it's important to balance that intellectual curiosity with the emotional sensitivity in order to develop healthy communication skills for expressing your thoughts or ideas in a clear and constructive manner. All right, so the next planet is Venus. So here with a natal Venus in the 8th house. Here, Venus can give one a unique approach to love, relationships, that is closely connected to themes related to transformation, regeneration, mysteries of life, deep feelings, emotions. And this placement brings a very deep intensity, passion to the romantic side of life, as Venus represents our values, pleasures, relationships. And here the 8th house is associated with deep emotions, deep feelings, deep experiences. And people with this placement may have a natural talent for understanding the emotional needs and desires of others. And they might be drawn to intense and passionate relationships, and they may have a strong desire for emotional intimacy and emotional connection, and they may be highly intuitive and empathetic as well. And this can generally allow them to connect with others on a deep and emotional level. However, the 8th house can also bring a certain degree of challenges, and those with Venus in the 8th house might sometimes struggle with emotional intensity or power struggles in their relationships. And perhaps they might find it difficult to share their own resources or emotions with others. And perhaps they may have a tendency to keep secrets or perhaps have this need to hold on to some information, for example. So, but overall, despite these challenges, here Venus can also bring opportunities for growth, for transformation, for that ability to connect with another on a very deep and profound level. Overall, there's also a talent for bringing people together, for healing, for transformation in relationships. And overall, people with this placement can be drawn to roles or jobs connected to counseling or psychotherapy. And there's often a very deep interest in spiritual or metaphysical practices, and people with this placement can be drawn to astrology or perhaps anything to do with tarot and spirituality, energy healing. So it's a really powerful placement here, without a doubt. The natal Venus in the 8th house, it's important to find a healthy balance between that desire for emotional intimacy and connection with the need for healthy boundaries and self-protection within your intimate and close relationships. Those with a natal Mars in the 8th house have a unique approach to life, and that is very closely connected to transformation, regeneration, deep and transformative experiences overall. And this placement brings a deep intensity, passion, a drive to life in general. But Mars represents our energy, our drive, our adrenaline, ambition. And here the 8th house is connected to deep experiences, deep emotions, transformation, regeneration. And people with this placement may have a natural ability for uncovering secrets, for solving problems, mysteries, and they might be highly intuitive and perceptive. And here, people with displacement may have a very strong desire to understand the hidden aspects of life. And here they might be drawn to topics connected to psychology, criminology, or perhaps investigative journalism. However, the 8th house can also bring challenges, and individuals with displacement might struggle at times with deep and emotions, deep experiences, power struggles, and they may have a tendency to be controlling at times or possessive in their relationships. And on a different level, they may experience difficulty sharing their resources or emotions with others. But however, despite these challenges, a natal Mars in the eighth house can also bring opportunities for growth, for transformation. So here, people with displacement may have a natural talent for overcoming obstacles and for facing their fears, and they might be drawn to professions such as law enforcement or perhaps military. Now, overall, a natal Mars in the eighth house can be a really, really strong and powerful, deep placement. And overall, individuals with Mars in the eighth house need to work on finding a healthy balance between their desire for power and control and their need for healthy emotional connections and vulnerability. And this can help them to achieve passion, deep understanding, a more fulfilling life as well, to reach a more fulfilling life. Jupiter. Here with Jupiter in the eighth house, Jupiter can give one a unique perspective on life that is connected to transformation and the hidden aspects of life as well, regeneration, healing. Now, this placement brings a deep interest in the mysteries of life, death, afterlife, and a strong desire for personal growth and expansion, as Jupiter represents our beliefs, our values, expansion. And while the eighth house is connected to deep experiences, deep emotions as well. And here, people with Jupiter in the eighth house may have a natural talent for uncovering hidden truths, solving problems, solving mysteries as well. They might be drawn to topics related to psychology and afterlife, astrology, and they may use their knowledge to help themselves and others on their path towards self-discovery. Now, the eighth house can also bring challenges, and people with natal Jupiter in the eighth house might sometimes struggle with deep emotions, or perhaps some deep or impulsive reactions. However, displacement can also bring opportunities for growth, for expansion, lack through partnerships or marriage financially. So here, Jupiter in the eighth house can give one also healing abilities. People with displacement might be drawn to professions related to psychotherapy or counseling. And they may also have a strong desire for power, for control. They might be drawn to careers also connected to law enforcement, finance, politics. So overall, natal Jupiter in the eighth house can be a really powerful placement. However, something to watch, something to keep in mind is to balance the desire for power, control with the need for healthy emotional connections in a life. Now, Saturn. So with a natal Saturn in the eighth house. Individuals with displacement tend to take life very seriously, and they usually have a very strong sense of responsibility towards themselves and towards others. They tend to be diligent and hardworking, striving to achieve their long-term goals, and even if it means making significant sacrifices along the way. Now, individuals with a natal Saturn in the eighth house are often focused on gaining control over their life and also over their environment. They may have a very strong desire to understand the mysteries of life, death, and there is also a very strong interest in transformation very often. However, here Saturn in the eighth house can also bring a fear of the unknown, or perhaps a tendency towards pessimism, and overall individuals with displacement may struggle with feelings of anxiety and depression. However, despite these challenges, people with a natal Saturn in the eighth house they have the potential to achieve great things in life with their practicality, determination, and they are often very highly resourceful and capable of overcoming obstacles that may seem overwhelming to others. So here with time, with effort, people with Saturn in the eighth house can learn to manage their fears and anxieties and generally use their strength and create fulfilling and meaningful life. So even though Saturn can bring delays, with hard work, dedication, this placement can bring a lot of rewards as well in the long term. Now Uranus, so those with Uranus in the 8th house, this placement can indicate a person who is highly unconventional, independent, especially in matters related to shared resources, intimacy, transformation. Now, this placement tends to bring about a very strong desire for freedom and independence, and a dislike of anything that feels restricted or confined. So here, individuals with a natal Uranus in the 8th house may have an interest in exploring taboo subjects or unconventional forms of sexuality even. They may also be drawn to alternative healing methods or perhaps spiritual practices that challenge traditional beliefs. Now, this placement can also indicate a tendency towards sudden changes or maybe some unexpected disruptions in their life, especially in areas related to shared resources or finances. Individuals with this placement often have a unique and innovative approach to problem solving, and that's ability to think out of the box. They tend to be highly intuitive, and they often have a talent for uncovering hidden information or perhaps secrets. Now, people with this placement may also possess a natural talent for entrepreneurship or perhaps for investing, and this is because they're often able to see opportunities that others may overlook. Now, when it comes to relationships, here individuals with a natal Uranus in the 8th house may struggle with intimacy and may prefer to keep a certain distance from their partners. However, with time, people with this placement can learn to balance their need for freedom and their desire for connection and create fulfilling and meaningful relationships in their life. Now, Neptune. Here, Neptune, the mystical Neptune in the 8th house, can indicate someone who is highly intuitive, sensitive to the energies of others. And generally, this placement tends to bring about deep interest in matters related to shared resources, intimacy, and also personal transformation. So here, individuals with Neptune in the 8th house, they often have a natural talent for healing. They might be drawn to careers in psychology, spirituality, or art. And overall, natal Neptune in the 8th house can also bring about a tendency towards escapism or maybe even avoidance, especially when it comes to some difficult emotions and feelings. Here, natal Neptune in the 8th house individuals may struggle sometimes with addiction or perhaps may have a tendency to idealize their partners or situations. And they may also have a fear of losing themselves in relationships, or perhaps they might be drawn to partners who are emotionally unavailable. Now, despite these obstacles or challenges, people with natal Neptune in the 8th house have a massive, massive potential for great creativity, spiritual insight. They might be drawn to alternative healing methods or perhaps spiritual practices that allow them to connect with their higher selves. Now, here, these individuals may also have a natural talent for understanding the hidden motivations of others, and they might be able to offer some really unique insights into complex situations. Now, when it comes to relationships, people with Neptune, the 8th house, they might struggle with boundaries, and they might need to learn to set healthy limits for themselves. So, especially here when they allow new people into their life. So they might also learn to distinguish between fantasy and reality in their relationships. However, of course, with time, with work, with experiences, with effort, they can really create some amazing and deep and meaningful connections with others in their life. And finally, we reached Pluto. So here with natal Pluto in the 8th house, this placement can bring about intense transformative energies related to shared resources, intimacy, personal power as well. And overall, natal Pluto in the 8th house, so here, individuals with this placement tend to be very or deeply interested in exploring the mysteries of life and death. And perhaps people with this placement may have a fascination with subjects or the occult. And here, Pluto in the 8th house individuals tend to be highly perceptive and intuitive, and they often have a natural talent for uncovering hidden information or secrets. They may also have a strong desire for control, and they might be drawn to positions of power or influence. However, here, displacement can also bring a fear of losing control. And people with displacement may struggle with issues related to trust, jealousy, or perhaps even obsession. Natal Pluto in the 8th house can also bring great strength, resilience. Here, individuals with displacement are often highly adaptable and able to navigate difficult situations with ease. People with displacement are also very empathetic, compassionate, and this can make them powerful healers or counselors. And in relationships, people with natal Pluto in the 8th house may struggle with issues related to trust and intimacy. And they may have a fear of being vulnerable, or perhaps they might be drawn to partners who are emotionally unavailable or perhaps who represent a challenge. Pluto in the 8th house gives so much depth that very often people with displacement, when communicating with others, they have this ability to know what the other person is going to say. So that's quite interesting as well. All right, so here we go. We reached the final planet for this video. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time in the episode 9 about the 9th house planet. So I'll see you there. Bye for now.